Discourse 16, November 24th, 1932. Thanksgiving Day, the personal ray of Jesus and other created rays. Saint Germain, invocation. The Almighty, wondrous presence, we give praise and thanks for Jesus Christ's presence today. We rejoice in the fullness of the Christ activity, the active presence of God. Out of the fullness of this presence comes pouring like a mighty stream gushing forth from the mountains, the energy of illumination. This great and mighty stream of life, with all its attributes of perfection, surging into the hearts of mankind, is anchoring in everyone peace, love, harmony, faith, and charity to all. The Almighty presence, infinite love, enfolding all mankind. Give special notice to these earnest students who have come under this radiation. Give every assistance that is permissible. Strengthen them to stand unwavering in the light and face the truth, joyously willing to pluck out of their lives and creation all undesirable things. Fill all official places with mighty messengers of light. Sustain them by the mighty ascended host, that they may be strong enough to stand unwavering and successful before any sinister force. We give praise and thanks for this day as an uplifting and wonderful memory established in the consciousness of mankind. May that rapidly approaching time come when every day may be a thanksgiving in the hearts of mankind for thy light ever enfolding all who wish it. I bring you greetings from the ascended host and Jesus himself. The Discourse. The first principle of activity from the Godhead is projection or precipitation. Therefore, its nature is to project or precipitate itself. The first activity is the divided rays going forth into individualization, into visible expression. When I speak of individual or visible expression, I use that term because of the physical activity. Not that it is not always visible, because it is. But to those in the physical form, I speak of it as visibility. Thus you will see the nature of your being as rays of light, and who you are as the natural quality of life which you so much desire at this time. The day is rapidly approaching when many students will begin to use the light rays of which they are a part, especially the ray of vision and sound, Even in your physical world today, there are beings discovered means of producing and use of these rays. These are strange activities. I say strange to the visible activity, but natural always to the inner presence. The manner of using these rays at present is crude. It is true, but it will require only another step to take them through the veil. The power of the I am presence and intelligence to use these rays will always remain infinitely more powerful than any mechanical contrivance by which they are used. However, to the student who has not yet found his ability to use these rays, the scientist's experience will be of wondrous encouragement to know the amazing truth of the individual's ability to use them. Here it is important to know that there are natural rays penetrating through all the atmosphere or etheric belt within the Earth's atmosphere. When I say natural, I mean those rays projected from the Godhead or great central sun, which in recent years, shall I say within a few years, have been made permanent. Then there are the created rays, created and projected by the great host, by those who have raised the body. The latter are the most potent of all rays because they are consciously manipulated. The rays the scientists are contacting are the natural rays, having a certain natural potency. The great need, as stated in the magic presence, is the preparation of earnest students who can be raised and taught the use of these rays. There are those among you who can do this, and as they are prepared with a determined steadfastness to the light, they will have more and more of the law revealed to them concerning the use of these potent forces. I feel a very great joy in the possibilities before you and your students. I trust that they can find within themselves the strength and steadfast determination to hold fast to the outer and inner work that is being done for them, with a joyous feeling of sureness of the limitless powers which true freedom brings. I have from time to time endeavored to give a word of encouragement, and through that enfold them in the radiation of strength which is fearless and dauntless in the light. The loving, joyous stillness in the attitude of the students is wonderfully encouraging, for the expectant attitude is the right attitude to be maintained. I would suggest that those who have been having unpleasant experiences would consciously withdraw from those conditions all power they have been giving them, mostly unknowingly. When it is necessary to discuss some condition to understand it, immediately follow by withdrawing any power that has been given it, and then know, I am the harmonious presence, ever pervading whatever the condition may be. as I have intimidated before, and it has only partially reached through, I will repeat it again. Anyone, especially the student, who has experienced inharmony or limitation in his mind, home, or world, can, with persistent, tensionless effort, by holding with determination to the following statement, keep his home clear of anything undesirable. I am the governing presence, governing in perfect divine order, commanding harmony, happiness, in the presence of God's opulence in my mind, my home, in my world. When I say, I am the governing presence, I am fully, consciously aware that I have set in motion the full power and intelligence of God, producing the desired conditions, and that they are self-sustained. It seems to me that it has not been clearly understood that when you use the expression, I am the presence in my mind, home, and world, you are not only commanding the conquering presence of this activity through your own consciousness, but you are calling forth the assistance of the I am, or God presence, into your home and world of whoever contacts it. This is so vital for the student to understand. Do not be discouraged if you do not see immediate manifestation of this harmony which you desire, but go right on feeling the conquering I am presence. Do you not see that in this consciousness there is no other presence to act except what you are conscious of? All other activity of the outer, which is undesirable, is but a distorted activity and use of this mighty energy. Therefore, when you say, I am the conquering presence, I command this I am presence to govern perfectly my mind, home, affairs, and world. You have sent forth the greatest decree possible to be given, and you have but to feel the sustaining power of this in the face of every appearance until you find perfection manifest in your mind, home, and world. I wish the students would read this particular part every day to keep before them in the mighty truth underlying these statements. Now we come to a vital point, and that is the personal ray or rays sent forth by Jesus direct. Many will ask, why especially Jesus? And I answer, because humanity has been taught to look to the presence of Jesus the Christ. Few having any knowledge at all of the ascended host of the great masters of the great white brotherhood who wield limitless power to assist mankind. You and your students will have, for the next 7 weeks, the personal ray of Jesus the Christ. Those who can put aside any thought of other personalities with open arms, mentally speaking, welcome these rays into each one's mind. Home and world will find almost anything possible. I assure all of you that the idea of these personal rays of Jesus the Christ is no imaginary thing. And you, our beloved messenger, have the personal thanks of Jesus the Christ for your fearless stand and use of the ascended Jesus Christ presence. As the messenger gives forth riches of wisdom and truth, so should the students, in their loving sincerity to the teacher, through the I am presence, work for the health and prosperity of the messengers. This would open doors to the students not otherwise possible. There are indications at this time that during the next 7 weeks, revelations may be given to some of a certain use of liquid light. I wish the students' attention to be fixed on this so that those who are ready may receive. Here, let me say that the right attitude of the student is always to rejoice at the advancement of his or her brother or sister. For each individual receives that which is most needed at the time. And if one receives one thing, another may receive something else. So the student should at no time feel that he should have the same thing that someone else receives. I mean, in regard to revelation. As no two are alike or of the same state of advancement, you can see how they cannot each receive the same thing at the same time. The most wonderful attitude of the student is to continually bless and rejoice at any revelation that comes to his fellow students, thus keeping the door wide open to that glorious inner presence at all times. For the encouragement of those interested in aerial transport, I wish to say there is nearing the approach of planes that will be proof against accident. These will make transportation quick, sure, and easy anywhere one wishes to go. The obstructive mental attitude of these interested in aerial navigation, which have been opposing the coming forth of this much needed knowledge, is rapidly being broken down until there will come forth a flood, so to speak, of wonderful ideas and perfection which can and will be used in this wonderful means of transportation. Many of you will not need them, but there are always those who do. For one's own aerial equipment within him will always far excel any outward conveyance. For the higher body is the most wonderful vehicle of aerial transportation there is. Some of my argumentative friends may suggest that this vehicle is not able to carry great loads. But I say to them, how shall ye judge until ye are able to use this means? It is the most amusing to watch the activity of so-called practical minds who feel that there is nothing real except what they can feel and handle. But unless one believes in the limitless power, laws of intelligence of God individualized, he can in no wise receive to any great extent from this mighty inner presence. The practical mind that forever doubts a thing it cannot see has a long way to go, unless, as you lop off the undesirable limb of a tree, this limb of doubt be cut off. You know, it is a good idea, after it has been cut off, for you to consume it in the consuming flame, that it does not come back again. It seems so difficult for the student to realize what a tremendous power the consciousness of this consuming presence is. To some, it is difficult to get away from the thought that it is imaginary. But could you see from the inner standpoint, you would see that it has a mighty presence and power and is very real. I wish for you about 2 minutes to feel this dazzling ray of light penetrating every atom of your being. There should be splendid accomplishment during the next 7 weeks. The reaching out of humanity as Christmas time draws near, with the already added impetus of the Christ force, enables accomplishments to take place at this time which have not before been possible. There are certain activities which must be contacted by the inner presence before the outer attention can be drawn to them. This is hard for the student to understand. The student must first reach out, and he can only reach out through his inner presence. A simple but very wonderful thing is for one to give praise every night and morning for that magnificent presence of life which animates the mind and body. It is a tremendous thing to feel deeply this thanksgiving for the presence of life which holds within itself all things. Just be grateful to life for all it is and contains. The very presence of life enables us to do the things we are conscious of and desire to do, because we cannot move without this presence. We cannot even think without it. If one would take this statement, I am the presence, thinking through this mind and body, he would receive some very remarkable ideas. The brain is the first point where obstruction begins to register, because that is the point of contact with wrong ideas. Wrong ideas register most quickly and intensely in the brain structure, because that is the field of atomic activity. However, the attention held upon the I am presence, so releases the power of perfection, which is within the electron at the center of the atom. That is the wrong ideas and obstruction to the light simply dissolve and disappear. Question. Dawn. Where are you going? Answer. Saint Germain. To the Golden City. From this time on until 3 weeks after New Year's Day. It is a time of great rejoicing in the Golden City, for it gives a great opportunity to convey into the physical world through the light and sound rays its own mighty radiance. If humanity could understand and appreciate this fact, remarkable things could take place. But that does not prevent individuals who can grasp it from receiving its remarkable benefit. The very simple thing, if students could only understand and apply it, is to absolutely keep the mind off every personality and know only, I am the only presence there. It would open the doors, oh so wide. Love and a reaching out to an ascended being, enable radiation to be given that would not otherwise be possible. One cannot long interfere with the progress or growth of another. For if one obstructing does not release and relax his hold upon the other who is ready to go higher, the obstructing one will be removed by his own action. If one continues to hold steadfast and sincerely to the light, personalities will be swept aside or harmoniously disconnected from the individual's world. At this state of growth, or rather expansion of the light, it is necessary to know I am the active presence of all channels of distribution of all things acting for my good. When the thought comes, this is all I have, nip it in the bud and say, I am the opulence of God in my hands and used today. This is the time to stamp it right out of your mind and feelings. This must be held as a sacred silence within each individual. Take this as a sacred, reverent knowledge to be used when you take from the I am self. It is impossible for you to take anything from any personality which rightfully belongs to that one. You are decreeing for your world, so you cannot take from anyone when knowing your own law. I am the presence acting everywhere. There is no possibility of division of the I am presence. If you need money, say, I am the active presence, bringing this money into my hands and use instantly. It is so important to get away from the importance of money. It is but a means of exchange. Do not give it power. Put all your power back with God. And then when you command, no matter what it is you want, You have all power instantly on hand to bring forth the fulfillment of your decree. The vibration within any element is always the breath of God, eternally self-sustained. All pulsation is the breath of God, the simple consciousness that I am the presence of perfect health is this breath of God acting. I am the presence of forgiveness in the mind and heart of every one of God's children. This releases enormous vibratory action after its kind. Hold the following with vividness. I am the pure mind of God. Benediction. Thou infinite, mighty, personal presence, Jesus Christ, we give praise and thanks for thy radiance, for thy intelligent rays, for thy qualifying presence. We give praise and thanks that we are conscious of that special radiance at this time, and that we may, through the loving open door of your consciousness, receive of its mighty presence.